Last class we have seen short columns. Now we'll see long columns. In the case of a long column, the most predominant behavior of failure for a long column due to axial load or eccentric loading is buckling. There are four end conditions which we have to consider in order to find the buckling load or the crippling load. Buckling load or crippling load. So we are going to consider first case. The four end conditions are: first case is both ends hinged, second case one end fixed and the other end free, third case it is both ends are fixed, and fourth case it is one end fixed and other end hinged. First we'll see the derivation for both ends hinged. For both ends hinged condition, consider a column AB with both ends hinged at A and B respectively. Let P be the axial load acting. So it is, let P be the axial load acting. Due to the loading, the column gets buckled into this position. We are now considering a section XX at a distance of X from the point B. Okay, ബിയിൽ നിന്ന് എക്സ് ഡിസ്റ്റൻസിലേക്ക് ഒരു എക്സ് സെക്ഷൻ കൺസിഡർ ചെയ്യുന്നു. ആൻഡ് ലെറ്റ് വൈ ബി ദി ലാറ്ററൽ ഡിഫ്ലക്ഷൻ ഒബ്റ്റെയിൻ അറ്റ് ദാറ്റ് സെക്ഷൻ ആൻഡ് ലെറ്റ് ദിസ് പോയിന്റ് ബി സി. So we know the differential equation for elastic curve as m is equal to ei into d square y by dx square. So from the figure, m at the point C is p into y. That is, p into y is the m equation. Now we have the sign convention. If it is bending in this formation, it is positive, and if it is bending in this formation, it is negative. So here it is bending in this form, so the bending moment will be negative. So it is minus py. So if we are substituting this in the equation, we get m is equal to, so minus py is equal to ei into d square y by dx square. So it is ei into d square y by dx square plus py is equal to 0. So you can write d square y by dx square plus p by ei into y is equal to 0. So this is the equation. Now this is a second order differential equation in y. This is a second order differential equation in y. So the solution of this equation becomes, solution of this equation is y is equal to c1 cos x root of p by ei plus c2 sin x root of p by ei. This is the solution for the differential equation. Now we know that the boundary conditions. Now we apply the boundary conditions. First we apply the boundary condition at B. At B, x will be equal to 0. There is no lateral deflection. So x and y are 0. X is equal to 0. Y is equal to 0. So substitute that here, you will get y is 0. 0 is equal to x is also 0. So c1 into cos 0 is c1. c2 into sin 0 is 0. So c1 you got it as 0. Now apply the next boundary condition, that is at A. At A, what is the condition? At A, x is equal to, the column length is L. Okay. Column length is L. So at x is equal to L, y is again 0. X is equal to L, y is equal to 0. Substituting that condition, you will get 0 is equal to c1 into, c1 is 0. So that term is 0. c2 into sin into L root of p by ei. In this case, if in this equation, either c2 can be 0 or this term should be equal to 0. But c2 cannot be 0 because c1 is already 0. So if c2 is also 0, this term will be 0. So that is not possible. So the only possibility is this term is equal to 0. So that is sin into L root of p by ei is equal to 0. That means sin into L root of p by ei means it is Sine is 0. That means L into root of P by EI is, it can take either 0 value or 180 degree, that is pi, or 360 degree 2 pi, etc. So the minimum value which can take is pi. That means L root of P by EI is equal to pi. When we are squaring it, we get L square into P by EI is equal to pi square. That is L square P, that is PCR, is equal to pi square EI by L square. We will get the equation as PCR is equal to pi square EI by L square. That is a crippling load for both ends hinge condition, and the effective length is same as the total length L. So now we'll see the 4 conditions. The first condition was hinged both ends. The effective length becomes the total length itself. L is equal to L. We got the equation as pi square EI by L square. Now the second condition is one end fixed and other end free. That means this is fixed and the other end is free. So this is bending in this form. So the length will be, effective length will be only L 2L, because here it is free end, this end is free. So the length is getting increased to 2L. So substitute L is equal to 2L here. We get PCR as pi square EI by 2L the whole square, that is 4L square. The third case is 2 ends fixed. That means this case the length is reduced to half. L is equal to L by 2. So we will get L, substituting L is equal to L by 2 in this equation, we will get, so that 4 will become to the top, 4 pi square EI by L square. Now the next case is, last case is, one end is hinged and the other end is fixed. So the effective length is L by root 2. Substituting that, we get PCR is equal to 2 pi square EI by L square. So these are the 4 different conditions. And slenderness ratio is the ratio of this effective length to the radius of gyration, LE by K. That is the slenderness ratio. Now there are certain limitations for this Euler's theorem. Till now we were seeing the Euler's formula for the crippling load and buckling load. There are certain limitations, because Euler's theorem is applicable only for long columns. It is not applicable for short and intermediate columns. And also it is not applicable for eccentric loading also. It is applicable only for axial loading. So we resort to the next method of analysis, that is Rankine's formula. Next we will see Rankine's formula. Rankine's formula is given by 1 by P is equal to 1 by PC plus 1 by PCR, where PC is the crushing load and PCR is the crippling load. So it is applicable for both short columns and long columns. On simplification of this, substituting for PC and PCR, we will get this equation: sigma C by AA by 1 plus alpha into L by K the whole square, where L by K is a slenderness ratio and alpha is equal to sigma C by pi square A, which is known as the Rankine's constant. So that is all about long columns. We have two formulas, Euler's formula and Rankine's formula.